everyone, welcome back to my channel. So it's been a while since I made my last video, so I thought to come up with a very interesting topic. And in this video we will see how you can build your own RAG based application with your custom data. So whenever I'm saying custom data, it means we are not using the inbuilt knowledge base. We will be taking our own data, feeding it to the system, and then we will query this RAG application for our data. So this entire process I will be executing using Azure AI Foundry. Then I will be using Azure AI Search for vectorization, and then as an LLM we will be using Azure OpenAI. So without further delay, let's get started. So I will start by creating a few instances. So let's go ahead and create a new resource group first of all. So I will name it as East US, and let's click on review plus create and click on create. So you can see that resource group got created. Next thing is we need to create an instance of Azure AI Foundry. So click on Azure AI Foundry, and here you have two options. So either you can create project or you can create hub. So there is a little bit difference between these two things. So whenever you are using Azure AI Foundry, you have to push everything inside a hub. So hub is like a collection, hub is like a container, you can say, which will hold your project, which will hold your AI resources, which will hold your Azure Search AI. Everything you can put it into a single container called hub. So, but if you are creating a project, then it will automatically create a hub for you in which that project will be sitting. So let's go ahead and create the hub first. So I clicked on hub, and here I will be selecting my same resource group which we created few seconds back, and the reason would be East US. Let's name it SHAI hub, and all these are good. So here you can see it is also creating a new instance for AI services, which is basically Azure OpenAI. So if you have already deployed any of the models of Azure OpenAI, then you can select it over here. Otherwise, you can also go ahead and create new ones. So I will go ahead and create the new one rather than selecting my existing OpenAI instance. So let's click on review plus create, and it will go ahead and create an Azure AI hub for us. Now, if you will look at, let's give it a few seconds. It is still submitting the deployment request. Okay, so here you will see that once it is deployed, there are 4 things which would be listed over here. So the first one you can see is Azure Storage, then we have the Key Vault, and you will see 2 more over here. It's not going to take much of time. So let's give it a minute and it should be up and running. So the third one here is for cognitive services, and the 4th one is for machine learning. So these are the 4 things which will be associated with your hub. So I think it's going to take again few seconds and it should be ready. It is still going on. So meanwhile it is running, but if I can show you the data which I am using. Oh, okay, it's done. So let's go to the resource, and here you can see the link for launching the Azure AI Foundry. So click on this one and it will open up the page for you, which has like Azure AI Foundry. And here you can see all these keys and everything. What you need to do is you need to first of all create a new project. So click on this new project, and here you need to name your new project, and I will simply say SHAI Proj. Click on create, and okay, so it is taking some time. Meanwhile, I can show you the data which I am using for this particular demo. So I will be using the sample PDF. So I have taken just 4 questions, and these are the 4 math questions which I have taken it from the Maths Challenge portal. And what we will be doing is we will be asking questions or the answers. Basically, we will be asking a question in which we will be asking like, what is the outcome of this particular question? So rather than describing the entire thing, we will just say like, let's talk about the last one. Michael is thinking of a number. when he added 8 to it, he gets 15. What is the number that Michael is thinking of? So instead of writing this entire thing as a query, I will just be asking like, what is the final number after 8, adding 8? And it should solve this particular question and get me the answer. So this is the overall idea. So in my case, I have taken math question, but you can take any kind of text you have. So let's move back to the portal. Okay, so you can see things are ready, and don't worry about this keys and the URLs because I'm going to delete this resource as soon as my recording is done. Okay, so once this is done, next thing we need to go and deploy our models. So click on models and endpoints, and here you can see deploy model. So I will go ahead and select the very first one, which is deploy base model. And here we'll see GPT 4o. Let's take this one, or we can take 4o mini. That would also work. Click on confirm. And here if you want, you can change these settings. So definitely you need to tweak this particular parameter. I need at least few tokens, 131k. Let's click on deploy. And it will go ahead and deploy that model for us. So if you want to try it out, you can just go to this playground and try this out. So let me quickly ask the same question. So I'm going to take that text. Let's take just few questions. Let's take one question or two questions, for example. And here I will say, you are an assistant that can solve math problems. Here are the few questions you need to consider. Okay, so I've just provided this one, and these are my questions. Let me format it a bit so you can read it. Okay, so these are my two questions. This is my question number 1, and here is the second one. Okay, so you are an assistant that can solve math problems. Here are the few questions you need to consider while answering user queries. Okay, I'm going to click on apply changes. Okay, so now let me consider first question. Who arrived first? And it should give me some answer here. And here you can say the answer is Tia arrived first for the play date. And now in this case, if you will see, I have not provided any context. I just provided my data, and then I'm asking, and it automatically recognized that, okay, we are talking about the question number 1, because this is the question where we are talking about who came when. Okay, so this was a very straightforward and simple example. Data was very less, so we were able to do. But in real scenarios, we cannot supply entire data with the prompt. So for that, we need to create an instance of Azure AI Search. We need to push in this data, and we need to vectorize it so that we can use that vectorized data to query our resources. So next thing is, I'm going to go ahead and create an instance for Azure AI Search. So let's go to AI Search, and here I will click on create and selecting the same resource group. So let's name it as Azure AI Search. Pricing tier you can take as per your requirement. I'm just going with the free one. And make sure to select the correct region as well. So click on review plus create. Oops, looks like I selected the wrong tier. Let me go back. Okay, so here I want to change this to free one, and here you can see now it is free. Click on review plus create. And make sure that if you're using free tier, you should at least verify it whether it is really picked up. Click on create, and it will go ahead and create an instance of Azure AI Search for us. So let's give it few seconds here. Okay, so resource is ready. We will not be doing anything here. Rather, we will go back to our this AI Foundry, and the next thing is we need to go to data plus indexes. Click on this one and click on new data, because we want to add our PDF file so that our RAG application can talk to this, or the LLM can talk to this. So here I am selecting a connection. So click on upload files, and let me quickly grab the path of my file, which is copy path, and here I would just provide the path. In fact, there are a lot many other data sources you can choose, but to be very go with a very simple scenario, I am uploading it from my local machine. Click on next, and here you can provide the data set name. I would just give something. Click on create, and here you can see everything is available now. You can click on your data and you should be able to navigate it. Okay, so now we have the data set ready. Next thing is we need to create an index out of it. So go to indexes and click on new index. So here you need to select the data source. So from where do you want to create index? So I would say I want to create it from data in Azure AI Foundry, because we have already uploaded the data in the Foundry just few seconds back. So I'm going to choose this one. But let's say your data is sitting somewhere else, like in Azure Blob Storage, MongoDB, or somewhere else, then you can choose the option accordingly. I'm going with this one, data in Azure AI Foundry, and this is the data set which we just created. Click on next, and here you need to now associate this index with some search service so that we can store that embedding, right? So in this, so what I need to do is, here we need to select the AI service. Here you have the provision to create an instance of Azure AI service if you have not already created. But in our case, we have just created some time back, so I'm going to utilize the same one. So this is the one which we just created some time back. Click on add connection so that it will get associated with this particular Foundry instance. Okay, so this is the one. Here we need to name our index. So if you are not giving any name, it will take some default name. And then we need to select the virtual machine. So either you can go with auto select, or if you want, you can choose the one from the recommended option as well. So I'm going with this one. Now the connection, it will automatically pick because we are in the Azure AI Foundry. So this is the benefit of using Azure AI Foundry. You can find everything at single place. So click on next again and create vector index. So now let's give some time to this. This is a little bit time consuming process, so I will pause my video and will come back. So if you want to know what's going on after clicking on that, you can click on this job details. It will take you to Azure AI Machine Learning Studio, and here you can see that flowchart kind of thing here. So you can see that right now it is chunking and generating the embedding. So this is the process going on, and it's going to take close to 15 minutes or like at least 10 minutes. So I would rather pause my video here and will come back. So just keep refreshing it, and on the right hand side you can see the progress. So until it's done, I will pause this video. So you can see we are like in the third stage here, as well as you can also see here. So 2 steps are done and we are in the final stage. So it's almost more than 10 minutes by now, and it is still running. So let's give it few more minutes and it should be ready. So we can see the third stage is also in green color. So I will quickly close it and I will refresh this. So here you can see all these 3 are in green. So here you can see it is showing ready. It means we can go ahead and consume this particular index. Now for consuming this index, there are 2 different ways. One is you can go to Playground and do it. Another way which we are really interested in is using the code. So I will quickly show you how we can achieve or use all these APIs inside our code. So let's move on to VS Code, and here I have already written few lines of code. So what I'm doing here is I have installed OpenAI package, and these are the two things which I'm importing over here. Then I have saved everything inside my configuration.env file, all the keys or the secrets which we need. So that I'm reading using .env values, and these are the various things which are placed inside my configuration. Next thing is, here I have defined a function which is going to make a call to LLM. So it is going to construct the client first. So client would be of type Azure OpenAI, which will take our endpoint, subscription key, and the API version. Then I have defined my prompt over here. So what my prompt is, you are an AI assistant specialized in answering math questions. The dataset includes embedding vectors representing math questions. Use these embeddings to answer all the questions. And like the straightforward thing which we used to do is defining the roles in order to construct the message. So here again we have two roles, system and the user role. System role will take this content as a system prompt, and for user it would be the user query which user wants to ask. Then we are making a call to the completion API. Now for completion API, these are the various parameters it takes. So few of these are like the default one, you can leave it as it is, but if you want you can define them. So let's have a quick look at what all parameters I'm defining. The first one is the model, then the messages, the maximum number of tokens which needs to be utilized, then the temperature, top P, frequency penalty, and the presence penalty. Stop sequence, I said none. I don't want anything. I don't want to stream my response, so I just set it to false. Then here is the special part, the very important thing you need to define. So whenever you are making a call to using the completion endpoints, usually we define only these things, but in this particular case we also need to supply the index which we created, right? So that can be done using the extra body property over here. So what it takes is, it is going to create a data sources in which we need to define our search endpoint, the name of our index, and the this semantic configuration. What this in this case it's Azure ML default. Then we need to define the search key. So if you don't know how to get this key, I will quickly show you in a while, but let's first take a walkthrough of this. Then as an embedding model, I'm using text embedding era 002. But if you're using something else, then you can take it. But if you're not selecting any model for embedding, then by default it will pick up this particular model. Okay, then we have the query type and the role information, which is prompt. So these are the various parameters which you can even see in Playground. And then I'm simply getting the response in the JSON format. So I can quickly run this. Okay, and let's ask this question: who arrived before at Sarah's play date? And if you want to know, I can quickly open up this PDF. So Sarah invited 3 friends for a play date. Tia arrived before Maria and Ben arrived after Tia. Who arrived first for the play date? So my question is, I'm asking in the natural language way. So who arrived before at Sarah's play date? I'm not defining my entire the question or what or how to solve it. So let's see how it can get the response. So response here is, like I said, I'm converting it to JSON. That's why you are seeing such a huge text, but of course you can parse it with this content. So this is the ID, then this is the content, which is Tia arrived before Maria at Sarah's play date. So if you will go ahead and solve that question, the answer would of course be Tia. So this is the answer which was generated by Azure OpenAI. And here, if you want, you can just go through it. This is nothing but the entire content which is available in our PDF. And yeah, so this is the one question. And second thing, let's try this one as well. How many cookies were on the plate after Shauna and Anita took some? So let's see if it can answer this. It can detect who is Anita, what kind of cookies we are talking about. Okay, so initially there were 8. Then Shona took 1, Anita took 2. Therefore, the total number of cookies taken are 3. So it means how many were on the plate. So we can easily say that there are 5 cookies left on the plate after Shauna and Anita took. If you want, just have a look at this question. So this is the question. So initially there were 8 cookies. Shauna took 1, Anita took 2. So of course there are 3 remaining, and that's what our answer is. Here is the complete explanation. So I hope you got an idea how we can combine all these services together using Azure AI Foundry to come up with a RAG-based application. And last thing which I didn't talk about is, if you don't know from where I'm grabbing all these keys, is the very first thing is this particular overview page. So you can get the Azure OpenAI like endpoint from here. You can click on this and it will give you the endpoint. Here is your OpenAI key. Then these are the project settings which you need. And apart from that, we also need the endpoint and the key for the search. So for that, you have to go to the search instance. This is the URL, which is nothing but the search endpoint. And for grabbing the key, you need to click on the keys and select the primary admin key. So once these things are set in the configuration, you are good to go. I hope you enjoyed going through this code, and do let me know in comments if you are facing any kind of challenge in executing this flow. Thanks for watching.